Hey guys, welcome back to In It for the Limit Fishing. We're going to do the intro a little bit different today because the last couple of trips I forgot to shoot an intro or a closing, so we're just going to do a voiceover here. On this episode, when we hit the water, it's a little bit muddy. It has rained. It's been very windy. I think it got up to close to 20-mile-an-hour winds, 15 to 20-mile-an-hour winds on this day, and the pollen is crazy. You can see it on the first little clip there where the water on the scope is just so mucked up, it's really hard to see. It's not as clear as it normally is. And there are some coves where the wind is blowing into where you can't even see the cover that we're fishing. In fact, the live scope became kind of useless at that point, which you don't need live scopes to catch fish. We just resorted back to the 2D and down imaging, which actually didn't have that much problem picking up the cover. Different sonar, different technology, and I already had the waypoints marked, so I could just lock on with my Ultrex and just vertically jig that way. And we pulled some fish off doing it that way. The fish are in transition. It is springtime, so and the water is hitting that mid 50s to upper 60s, more stable temperatures, and so they are starting to move up to spawn. The stake beds you'll see, they'll have a few little fish. A lot of them are going to be hanging on the bottom, which is common, especially after a rain. But they're starting to empty it. The stake beds are starting to empty out. In fact, a couple days after this, I take another trip, and I'll try to get that video up as well. But the stake beds are completely empty a couple days just after this. So they are starting to move shallow. In fact, in that trip, and the next trip after this episode, they've moved up into about 8 foot or less, and I'm catching them off. I found them in brush piles and things in that 8-foot range. So we're going to try to get after them. We are going to check out stake beds, marinas, and docks and different things, but the crappie are on the move, so when they're on the move, you got to be on the move. Now, the spawn doesn't happen all at once. They move up at different times, and it'll last probably around a month or so, a month or two. It lasts longer than what most people think it does. You'll still catch them spewing eggs later on into May and on closer to June sometimes. When they're on the move like this, when the beds start, the stake beds and things start emptying them out, you kind of do have to chase them, but eventually they'll start settling back in on those beds, and you can just hang there and just catch them as they come and go. So we're gonna get to it. So there's a stake bed right here. They're not really on the stake beds. You see that one right there? It actually looks like 2 fish. But there's a little bit bigger one underneath. I don't know if you can see that on the bottom. But I've actually pulled some fish off of this, so I've got one 11-incher and 2 real little bitty ones. And they're not stacked in. This is one of those times where you can pull, you can round up some keepers doing this. There's some right there. I don't know if you can see that little bright spot right here. That's actually a fish. It looks like 2 or 3. There's a little bit of them there. But you can round out a limit like this, but you got to keep hitting beds and keep moving. And I'm trying to stay off of them. They are still a little bit spooked, so I might see if I can catch that one right there. Let's see. Now that I look at it, I don't know if it's a keeper or not. There might be a couple of them bundled up. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Now, got the little one out. Look at that. So I'm trying out these new There he goes back. That was a rebound. They're back. You may see these ACC crappie sticks, lures. This is a new bait. Got a Crappie Cove. He said there are only a couple places that have them on the market right now. They're not online, but they're crappie snacks. That's what they're called. And I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I'm just testing them out and see how they do. Now I've had several pass those up to get this little black and chartreuse. I was just trying this out too because of the way the tail is. I might split it a little bit later. I've used these with a split tail, sometimes not. They've been taking it just like this, so I'm gonna keep it like that. All right, let's go find another bed. Here's what I'm talking about. These beds aren't really thick in there, and as I approach, let me zoom out a little bit other way. Alright, so you can see it's not a lot in here. You see a few dots right there in that little section. It's not loaded, part of that's just a stake bed. But as you get closer and zoom in, hold on, the wind's got us turning crooked. You can see a couple good marks in there. Oh, I forgot to anchor in, that's why. I'm trying to stay off of them, so I'm just gonna anchor. You can see that big, a couple good marks in there. All right, there's some, that might not be a stick, but we'll try to sneak up on it. All right, so what I do is facing into the wind. It's right in front of us, and so I'm going to jog us just 5 feet at a time, which if you get an iPilot, I don't know how the jogs work on the Ghost or the other units, but with an iPilot, every push is a 5-foot jog, and so we're just going to inch it little bit by little bit. We're at 30 feet right now. I don't know if you can see that, but we're about 30 foot away. And let the boat settle, and then I might jog again. Let's zoom in here a little bit more, do another one. I like to get within 20, but sometimes they won't let you, and we're just trying it out today. The wind shifted a little bit, so it's going to be on this side of us. So I'm going to jog us this way a little bit. There we go. Now I'll cast into it. There's a good one right there. If I can get at him or not. There's actually quite a few down in there. There we go. I already got one. A little bit in. It's not the one I wanted. A lot of times those little bitty ones bite first. What you don't want it to do is to spook the whole school. There's some other ones in there that look like they might be okay. 20 feet. That was a little bitty tick, but I'm trying to use the scope to make sure I'm in the right zone, right area, and then turn around and just wait for the bite. You don't need to see the bite, it's better to feel it anyways, and that one's too small. I think we're at 7 throwbacks and 1 keeper. That's a horrible ratio. We might have to get out of here. There's a good one right there.
Player 1.
I don't think I'm gonna get to it. Got another one chasing it.
Player 2.
Come on. Come on.
Deathmatch.
Oh, missed him.
You lose.
This thing's a little bit bigger. I should have gave him more time. There he goes swimming away with a hurt jaw. He's got a hurt jaw. I got some hurt pride. There goes the big brother right next to him. Come back. I offended the whole family. I've disappointed all of them. That's right. Let me do this. He's coming back. Let me see if I can make him matter. Ooh, that one's good. He's going right back into the thick of it. So that tells me that they are. He didn't run off and hightail it. Let me see if I can go back at him. Come on, buddy. I just want to be your friend. Put you in a hot tub. Give you the good life. Ooh.
Finish him.
Got him. Got him.
You win.
That was not the big one. But he looks like a keeper. Nope, you know what? He might be shy. That ain't the one I wanted. You the wrong one. It's little sissy. Hey, we got the little sister. It's not the one I wanted. Yeah. I said, give me your big brother. Send me grandma. Alright, let's try it again. I probably spooked some of them there. They kind of went down. But they're moving back up, so I think the sign coming out's got them moving. Fishy. I think I said 8 throwbacks. It's going to be 9 throwbacks. Although they are taking this. Alright. I don't need to check that one's throwback. The problem with this is there are some down there that are not that size. They're a little bit bigger. Now, they're not monsters. But they look like, 11-inch fish. They're eating kind. You can see a couple of them swimming away from everything. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. That's a little one. Evie, you want to catch any of these and reel them in? Pretty fun. For, just catching. You cold? You wrapped up? Be careful about getting that blanket in the water. Alright, let's see if we can find them keepers out here. This is another bed right next to it. Again, it doesn't look like you got a whole lot in there when you're out further. As you get closer, you can see those bright dots there on the bottom. They've been hugging the bottom, so you gotta kind of look for them. Always do that. Barkarts. Now, those right there look small. That one right there looks like it might be okay. Because I'm on 30-foot mark, so these are small fish right there. Don't believe me? Let's catch one, I'll show you. Be a decent one in there. That's what I'm finding. There might be a 1 or 2 here or there that might be decent, and I hope that's one of them. I don't know. Boy, he might keep if he steps on his tippy toes. He might make the mark. I don't know. Can you stretch for me? You do yoga? Let's see. Look at that. This fish does yoga. He's just, oh, you know what? He is over. But I don't want to hit me like that. Where'd you get that at?
That's a Kinder Bueno.
Oh, I didn't know what those were. Kinder Bueno. Is it bueno or no bueno?
That's French, Daddy.
Well, it sounds like an awful lot like Spanish to me. Espanoli. And that one sounds like crappie wappie. Do you speak crappie? He bypassed the big one and went for the black and chartreuse up top here. A little smaller profile. That one is not a stretcher. This one's going swimming.
Because there's a missionary.
Got a swimming pool waiting for you. There we go. Baby.
Oh,
Hey, baby. No, really. So these, from what I hear, these little bootians like this are your late spawned out ones from the year before. This spot might look familiar if you watch any of my videos, because this is the same spot we hit in the winter. Interestingly enough, I can link the winter video up here, but there's still crappie under here, and it's had a lot of pressure. I know a lot of people that's been hitting it, and I've heard there's been a lot of people back here fishing it. But they're still back here. Alright, there we go. Huh. Keeper on that one. They are still here, but they are not biting us. They're a little bit picky. That one is and a half. So you see what we're fishing. This is the same spot we did in the winter video. And so that school is still here, even despite all the pressure. You know, when people talk about fishing out a spot, I can tell you something. This spot has been hit here real heavy. And they're a little bit finicky. Not really biting that great, but I know that people have pulled lots of keepers out of here since then. And they're still here. There we go. Little bitty one this time. I forgot to click those two. Oop. That's a good one right there. There we go. This might keep. Yep. He's well over. So this is just like a a wiring going through for anchors and things. I'm not quite sure what they use it for, but a lot of times you'll find there's not a whole lot of fish on it, but a lot of times they're keepers that are. We're out here 18 foot of water, and I don't know if it's tiles down here, but there's different wires. They're all out through different marinas. I see them all the time. I'm just lifting it up over to get it to where I want it. You can see it, the bright mark right there should be a fish. Alright, so these guys are a bit touchy-feely. Alright. See that? So we're using this big crappie snacks that was spooking them. So we put on a crappie magnet therapist. We'll try that, see if that keeps from spooking them as badly. There we go. That's a little bitty one, but man, he inhaled it. So that's a tiny one. But I just want to show you how that's just a change in color. Too small. But change of color. Felt like a good. Am I recording? Yep. Got us a little bass. There we go. There we go. Another keeper. Give me a click, Evie. Alright, guys. That's it for this episode. We caught a lot of fish, over 30, but we only had 7 keepers. Now, part of the reason that is because those smaller fish had not moved up, but the bigger ones had. Now, keep in mind, crappie spawn when they're mature at about 10 inches. They reach maturity at about 10 inches, which is why you have that 10-inch limit. And so those bigger fish had already moved up, and you had a few stragglers out on those beds, keeper size, but really it was just the small ones. In a couple days after this trip, I went back out and found some good keepers in that 8 foot and less range, and they were holding on to brush, which tells me that they are really ready to spawn. In fact, this trip was on a Sunday. I found them on a Tuesday. I found Tuesday afternoon. I found them on that 8 foot and less range, and then Shannon went back out on Friday, and he caught some that were spewing eggs. So they're currently in full blown spawning mode. And when they're doing that, when they're in that transition, you do have to move, and you can check different spots, different depths. Always check different depths because they move up at different times. Um, Now these stake beds actually end up in this deeper water. The ones out on the main channel, they start emptying out, and when I go back out 2 days after this, those stake beds are completely empty. Now I know a lot of you live scope guys are going to look and probably comment about adjusting the gain. I had the gain really high at first, but I did go through and I dropped it down to 50 at times. I had the TVG on, but really, it didn't really matter what I did. It was still a washed out screen because of all the pollen and things in the water where the wind had blown in. I've never really had that kind of trouble with just mud. It was really, I think it is the pollen and things that have blown into the water. So I appreciate all the support and you guys watching and all the comments. I try to respond to each one if I can. And I know some people message me on Facebook. If I'm a little slow on Facebook, it's because I don't get notifications, especially if it's a message request. But I'll get back to you when I can. And if you're a new watcher and you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, keep chasing that limit.